When you are first learning how to sew, it's really powerful to think about the endless possibilities for your wardrobe. You can pick any garment and any fabric, and you can sew it to fit your body, and then you can wear it with pride. No matter how long you've been sewing, this creative process never stops being thrilling. When you're first starting out, how do you pick projects to start with? And how do you pick fabric? And which do you pick first? Remember how we said that sewing was an adventure? Well, this is where it becomes a really fun choose your own adventure. This lesson will help give you some tips. Let's start with picking your first garment project. This is the fun part, so please don't stress out. You can start with almost any project when you're first learning how to sew. You can choose a simple project so you can just get your feet wet, or you can dive into a more challenging project and just take it step by step. The sewing instructions will take you through every single step, and you can pause at any time to look up a technique, ask the sewing community for help, reach out to your local fabric store for some pointers, or even hop into a class. You aren't in this sewing thing alone. When you're first starting to sew, it helps to pick projects that satisfy your curiosity. Are you curious about how to sew with knits because that's your favorite kind of fabric to wear? Then start with a knit project like a t-shirt. If you really want to know how to construct a pair of pants, then find a simple pants pattern and check it out. Here are 3 tips to help you choose good beginner sewing projects. Tip number 1 is to look for fewer closures. If you find buttons and zippers to be intimidating, then look for a garment that doesn't have a lot of closures. Elastic might be easier for you to work with than zippers, and patterns that have wider necklines that slip over your head won't need any kind of closure in the back. Tip number 2 is to pick a simple silhouette. If you aren't ready to deal with a lot of fitting, pick a project that has a simple, loose silhouette. It will give you some flexibility to start with while you're learning how to sew and getting comfortable. If you aren't sure how a sewing pattern is going to fit your body, take a close look at the pattern. Most pattern companies will give you a description and include illustrations of the pattern, which are also known as technical flats, to help you envision it on your body. Seamwork patterns have really detailed fit guides in all of the instructions, and you can even find them on our website before you download the patterns. That way you can see how the garment is meant to fit your body. And Seamwork members can actually download a PDF of all of our design flats, so you can cut them out and use them for planning your projects. Tip number 3 is to choose a skill building technique with every single project. Learning a new technique is really motivating because it's going to make you hungry to learn even more. When you're first starting, pick projects that teach you a new skill, especially a skill you can Google really easily, like installing bias tape or sewing a dart. With these 3 tips in mind, that's why we chose the bow top for this sew-along. It's loose fitting, so choosing a size is really easy. You actually only need your bust measurement. It doesn't have any closures, so you don't have to mess with zippers or buttons for your first project. But it is going to teach you an essential skill for sewing, which is attaching bias tape. So if you sew bow, you'll learn all of the basics plus a new skill, which is attaching bias tape. That way, when you go to your next project, installing a zipper won't feel that tricky. Now it's time to talk about fabric. Should you pick your fabric after your pattern, or should you pick your fabric and then your pattern? The good news is it does not matter. If you have fabric on hand, you can find a pattern that works for that fabric. If you have a pattern, the pattern is going to tell you exactly what kind of fabric to buy. You can start with either, but no matter what, you'll need to know a few basic things about fabric while you're getting started. The first question to ask with a new fabric is it knit or woven? Knit fabric has stretch, so if your pattern calls for stretch, you have to use a knit. Otherwise, you might find that you can't move in your garment because it won't stretch. Next is the fabric contents. You'll learn to think of fabric in terms of what it's made of. Does it contain cotton, silk, linen, polyester, or rayon? All sewing patterns will give you a list of the types of fabric that you can use for that project. Next up is drape. Drape refers to how the fabric hangs on your body. Is it flowy or is it stiff? Fabrics have different movements on the body. For example, you'll quickly learn that cotton is not all equal. Quilting cotton is called quilting cotton because it's a little stiff. It's ideal for precise quilting projects. It can work for some garments, but not all garments. It doesn't drape really well. so it's not going to hang on your body the same way that a shirting cotton would, which is designed for shirts. The more you sew, the more you will get a feel for drape. So I just encourage you to go out and feel as many fabrics as you can while you're first getting started. Finally, think about what you like to wear. Check out the labels on your favorite clothes and write down the names of those fabrics. Odds are you're going to find those same exact fabrics in the fabric store. So it helps to know what kind of fabrics that you enjoy wearing personally. It all comes down to personal preference. The more that you sew, the more that you will learn about fabric. It just comes naturally. So as you are just starting to learn, experiment with different fabrics. Take notes along the way. Start a swatch journal. Cut out little pieces, take notes, label them. It's the best way to learn. Before we move on to the next video where I'm going to show you how to pick a size, I just want to recommend a fun class that we have here at Seamwork that can really help you sew clothes that you want to wear. If you haven't heard of it, it's called Design Your Wardrobe. It's 3 weeks long and will walk you through designing a collection of patterns to sew. You'll create a mood board, you'll pick out fabric, and you'll assemble individual looks. It's super fun and it's great if you're just starting to really think about your style. It's also in the Seamwork classroom, so when you're finished with this class, be sure to check it out. But next up, let's talk about sizes.